Okay, so hello everyone. Okay, we come to part 3 today. Hold on, yeah, still opening the file. We begin with the homework discussion. Okay, we always begin with homework discussion. Okay, come to page 38. Okay, come to page 38. Okay, again, if you have done any homework, okay, you can actually send to me, okay, even though I will let you self-mark when I discuss, but at least I have a look at if you have made any major mistakes or not. Okay, if I manage to look at your book. Okay, now 17. How does Jave, not too sure how to pronounce it, okay, Jave or Javet, okay, but it doesn't matter here. Okay, how does Jave record this in his books? Okay, this is what I call as the question requirement sentence. Hold on, yeah, there was a problem with the screen. Let me adjust it. Okay, sorry. Okay, now it's okay. So I call this as the requirement sentence. Why? Because it is this question that asks you what to do. Okay, it's the question, it's the sentence with question mark. So I call it the requirement sentence. Always read the requirement sentence first to find out what you need to do. Okay, so when it's asking you how somebody should record a transaction, okay, when it's asking you how somebody should record a transaction, you must know that you are that somebody. Okay, you are Jeff in this question. Okay, I think I have to tell you what you should do first when you see a question with a number of names inside. You see in this question you have two names. One is Sami, another is Jared. You must always know who you are in the question. Okay, what is our name in the question? And then next you have to determine whether we are customer or supplier. Okay, have to decide for these two. Okay, have to decide for these two. Then only you start to do the question. Okay, so we are Jeff here in this question. We have determined. And then are we customer or supplier? You have to read this sentence. It's the first time we are doing a question together for this topic, so I made it slower. Okay, if you have done it with school teacher before, then I think it would be easier for you to understand. Okay, but I assume that you know nothing right now. Sami returned goods bought on credit from Jeff. So from this sentence, you know Sami is customer, Jeff is supplier. Therefore, we are supplier. Okay, we are Jeff, we are supplier. Okay, and it's about goods returning. It's about goods returning, right? When you are supplier, you call the goods returning as sale returns. When we are the customer, we call the sale returns as purchaser returns. So what would you call this as here? We are Jeff, right? So we call it as sale returns, not purchaser returns. Okay, if you are Sami, you would have called it as purchaser returns. But here we are Jeff. Therefore, which is not the answer for sure. A is not the answer because I see purchaser returns. C is not the answer because I see purchaser returns. Okay, therefore answer is either B or D. Very obvious answer is B. If you refer to my notes, we should debit sale returns and credit Sami. Okay, it's quite straightforward. Okay, after you have known who you are. Okay, good patient. Okay, Naima, your answer is also correct. I have seen it. Good. Okay, again, any of you have question, you let me know from time to time. Okay, you may either speak or you type in the chat box. So answer is B. It's the first question we discussed together, so I have taken longer time. Okay, but from time to time when you have done more questions with me, I would be faster. Okay, page 40. Okay, page 40. Okay, page 40. Okay. I saw that some of you completed this entire table. Probably you have done it with your school teacher. I mean, you have learned it with your school teacher, so you can complete it. Okay. The other day, I asked you to do only the C2. Okay, only the C2. Okay, it says, Okay, again, read the requirement sentences. The requirement sentence is here. Complete the table below showing how these transactions are recorded in Vikram's books. Must also remember when the question asks you how something is recorded in somebody's book, we are that somebody. That means in this question, we are Vikram. Remember, you must know who you are in a question. First one has been done as an example. Okay, so they debit how and then credit sales account for $300. What exactly are they doing? You can see the question to see if they've done it correctly or not. Vikram maintains a cash book with columns for bank and cash. I've not taught you cash book before, but I will guide you in doing a cash book in chapter 4, okay, or we call it part 4. Following transactions take place. Vikram sell goods on credit to how? This one you have learned it with me. Okay, so we are Vikram. We sold goods on credit to how? Have we received the payment from how? Not yet. On credit means how has not made payment. How has not made payment. Okay, how owes us money. We should debit how? Credit sales. So have they done it correctly? Yes. Okay, now second one. How pays the debt in full in cash? You have to keep reminding yourself you are doing question C and you are Vikram in this question. And from time to time, the sentences given to you in the exam, they would try to trick you into thinking that you are another person. Why? Because you notice they start with the word how. Start with the name how, which is not you. Okay, so you could be thinking that you are making payment here because they start with the word how and then pays. No, we are still Vikram here. We are doing question C. We are still Vikram here. It is actually us who collects payment from how. Okay, why? Because from the first transaction earlier, how started to owe us money. How started to owe us money. Therefore, for the second transaction, how pays us. Okay, how pays the debt in full in cash. Therefore, we receive cash from how? As settlement. We debit cash account. How much is it? 300. Because from the first transaction, how started to owe us 300. Therefore, it is 300. Then you credit how account. Can you credit sales account? Again, cannot. Okay, 300. Okay, good, patient. Okay, so Naima, I also noticed that you have done it correctly. Good, from the answer that you sent to me. Okay, the rest we settle later. So the answer for second one is this. One more question that I asked you to try. Page 41, page 41. The second question. The third last. Okay, the rest I didn't ask you to try, but if you have attempted, since you have learned it with your school, it's okay. Okay, up to you. Okay, Nelson, a credit customer. Okay, when a question tells you somebody is a customer, that means you are not Nelson here. Okay, you are not Nelson here. What is our name here? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, we are us. Okay, Nelson is our customer. Nelson is our customer. So you have to see what happened here. Customer return goods back to us. Customer return goods back to us. What do you call this as? Do you call this as sale returns or purchase returns? Who we are? We are supplier. Okay, we are supplier. Nelson is our customer. Okay, so everyone, I let you try. Tell me in the chat box. Do you call we are supplier here? Okay, we are not Nelson. Do you call this as sale returns or you call it as purchase returns? So you type either SR or PR. Is this a sale return to us or purchase return to us? Good, Naima, correct. Okay, the rest, I give you about 10 to 20 seconds. Is this a sale returns or purchase returns to us? We are supplier. I wait for everyone's response, yeah. Good, patient. Okay, SR. Oh, sorry, I've told the answers to everyone. It's SR, sale returns. Okay, therefore, patient, your answer has to be changed, right? Okay, That's why I say it's important to know who you are when you are given any line in the question. Okay, so here we are supplier, Nelson is our customer. That means Nelson returned goods back to us. Earlier we sold goods to them. This is sale returns. So we debit sales returns, credit Nelson. Okay, credit Nelson. Okay, so that's it for this. Okay, no more for now. Homework discussion is done. We get back to the notes. We learn a few more transactions before we go to do questions again. Okay, come to page 30, everyone. Okay, come to page 30. Come to page 30. Okay, let's recall what we learned last week. Last week, we started this topic, right? Okay, we talked about you must know what is the name of the T-shape. The T-shape is known either as account, ledger account, or you create as T account. You cannot call it as ledger. Ledger is something else which you will learn much later. Okay, you will know the importance of this when you are doing the past exam questions. Okay, you must not misunderstand the questions. That's why you have to know the terminology very well. Okay, and then we also talk about double entries. Okay, every transaction must have double entries, one debit entry and then one credit entry. Every entry has three components: the dates component, details component, and the value component, right? Always write number first. Always write number first, then only you write detail, then only you write the dates. Okay, remember before we dismissed last week, we did quite a couple of questions on recording into T accounts, right? Okay, write number first, then detail is always the name of the other account, then only you write the dates. These are the easiest to write. Don't write the dates first. Okay. And then you have learned some decision-making rule, okay, that can help you to determine what to debit and what to credit to some extent. If you receive money, if you receive the money in the form of cash, you debit cash. If you receive the money in the form of check, you debit bank, because check will eventually goes into the bank. On another hand, if you make payment with cash, you credit cash. If you make payment with check, then you credit bank, right? Okay, this can help you to some extent only in making decisions what to debit and what to credit. Okay, and there are a few more things that you may have to remember separately. Okay, and then this is the flow chart we have gone through. Okay, when we are the supplier. Okay, when you are the supplier, you sell goods to customer, and this flow chart are what we have gone through. Okay, now let's look at this flow chart. This time, again, let me remind you, this topic is about remembering what account to debit and what account to credit for all the transactions that are given to you in the exam. Transactions means events that happen in business. Okay, buying, selling, return goods, all these are events in business. You must know what to debit and also what to credit. Okay. Okay, now have a look at here. You write a few words with me: purchases goods with, from supplier. Purchasing goods from supplier. So who are we here? Then we say that we purchase goods from supplier. We must be the customer. Okay, we must be the customer. Okay. You could be wondering, why are we customer? Okay, we are doing this subject known as accounting. Shouldn't we be the boss all the time? Why can we be customer? Okay, I give you a scenario. You can be a customer even though you run a business. Think of yourself running 99 Speed Mart. Think of yourself running maybe another business or 7-Eleven. Okay, 99 Speed Mart or 7-Eleven. Do you need to buy things to sell? Of course. So you will buy from whom? You will buy from those factories, right? Okay, those factories that sells snacks, soft drinks. What else? What else do they sell? Breads. Okay, gardenia. Okay, gardenia breads. Okay, so This is us, okay? We are we are 99 Speed Mart or 7-Eleven. When you buy from factories, we are customer, right? And when you sell to customer, you become supplier. Okay, supplier means seller. Okay, so therefore, you can become both customer and supplier at the same time. When you buy from factories, you are customer. When we sell to customer, we are supplier. Okay, get the idea? Okay. Okay, now let's have a look at this. Purchasing goods from supplier. Again, you can have three possible situations: D1, D2, and D3. Okay, D1, D2, and D3. Okay, so I believe you should understand why there are three situations here. Just like when you sell goods to customer, there could be three situations: A1, A2, and A3. You may get cash from customer on the spot. You may get check from customer on the spot, or you sell goods on credit. Okay, three situations. So the same goes to buying goods from supplier. There could be three situations. You may buy goods from supplier and pay with cash immediately. You pay with cash immediately to the supplier. Therefore, you credit cash. Okay, right? Credit cash. Second situation, you buy goods from supplier, you pay with check immediately, you credit bank. Okay. Okay. The one for debit entry, we decide later. Okay, I'll tell you later. Buy goods on credit, the third situation means you don't make payment yet. You have not made payment. Okay, you get the goods from supplier first, but you will pay later. You will pay later. Okay, that means there's no on the spot payment. There's no on the spot payment. Should you remember the name of the supplier? Should you remember the contact number of the supplier, the address of the supplier, and what is the account number of the supplier? Should you know? Of course, we should know. Otherwise, how we make payment in the future, right? Therefore, you credit supplier's name. Logical? Yes, right. You are a responsible buyer. You must remember the name of the supplier because you have not made payment. Therefore, you credit supplier's name. You cannot credit cash. You cannot credit bank here because we have not made payment. It's the same technique you use for remembering selling goods on credit. When you sell goods on credit to customer, would you remember the name of the customer, recording down all their details? Of course, yes. That's why you debit customer's name. Okay, so that's how I make my students remember. Okay, so here you credit supplier's name. Sometimes certain exam questions may not give you somebody's name. In that case, you have to write trade payables. Remember this term? You learn it in the part 1. Okay, trade payables is a current liability. We owe money to the supplier. Okay, trade payables. Okay, now what account to debit? This is something you have to remember separately. Just like when you sell goods, you have to remember to credit sales account. Okay, my point is the decision-making rule here can only help you to some extent. Okay, good enough. And then for certain things, you have to remember separately, like crediting sales when you sell goods. And when you buy goods, you debit purchases. Again, it's a fact. I cannot explain to you why debit purchases. Okay, it's like the plus and minus of the subject, just like mathematics. Would you ask your teacher why this is plus, why this is minus? No, right? Okay, so this is something like plus and minus of the subject. Okay, so we are now customer, right? Okay, shall we return goods to the supplier? Shall we return goods to the supplier if there's problem with the goods? Yes. So look at transaction E. When we return goods back to the supplier, what would the double entries be like? The technique is the same, same as the one you use for the one on top here, the transaction B. When customer return goods to us, you do reversal, then you add the word returns. Okay, and here is the same. You do reversal, then you add the word returns. Reversal means what? Whatever you have debited earlier, now you go and credit it. Whatever you have credited earlier, now you go and debit it. Okay? So now, right now, again, is something you have to remember. Okay? In fact, no matter what method you use to remember, as long as you can get me the correct double entries, then it's fine. Okay, it's up to you how you want to remember. Eventually, you must get the right answers when you are given a transaction. If they ask you what to debit and what to add credit, and you must tell it correctly. Okay, so write supplier's name slash. Okay, write in short form. Yeah, I don't have enough space here. Then credit purchases. Where do you think I can add the word returns? Purchases. Okay, after purchases. So this is known as purchaser returns. You saw it in the part 2, right? The term purchaser returns. Okay. Now, transaction F. Okay, let's say you return only a portion of goods back to the supplier. That means you didn't return all the goods back to the supplier. Okay, you didn't return all the goods back to the supplier, meaning you must still owe some money to the supplier, right? Because you didn't return all the goods. Eventually, you must settle. Okay, you must pay to the supplier to settle the debt that you still owe to the supplier. You can pay with either cash or check. If you pay with cash, you credit cash. If you pay with check, you credit bank. Okay, after you have written down whatever I have here, I let you decide what account should I debit here. Okay, I wait for everyone's answer, then I will tell you. You try. What should we debit? Okay, I need to see 4 answers. Patient, my question is, what account to debit? What account to debit? I've determined the credit entry for you, right? Okay, Naima, yours is correct. I wait from Annabelle and Jason. Okay, patient, correct. Give you 10 more seconds. Annabelle, not that answer. Jason, please try. Okay, I cannot wait further. You should debit supplier's name. You should debit supplier's name. Or we call it trade payable. Okay, why? Because when you have made payment to the supplier, you will owe the supplier less, right? So you debit supplier's name. Okay, you try to notice when you owe supplier, you create supplier's account. When you owe supplier less, you debit supplier's account. And then eventually you settle the debt, you owe supplier less, you also debit supplier's account. Okay, so it's quite logical here. Now, let's do an example. Let's do an example to show how we exactly do a supplier account. On top here, you write Abu. Okay, this is Abu's account. Okay, this is Abu's account. Okay, let's start. Yeah, you look carefully how I do, because after I've done this example with you, again, I will show you a couple of transactions. Then you have to do on your own and try. Then you snap a picture, send it to my WhatsApp. Then we do the checking together. Okay, so you focus now. You look at how I do. Okay, because you are going to do it on your own later. Buy goods on credit from Abu for $300. Who are we? We are we. Okay, we are we. So we are customer. We buy goods. Okay. On credit means payment has not been made, so we owe Abu money. Therefore, credit Abu account, debit purchases. That's what we learned, right? Okay. Credit Abu account, debit purchases, consistent with this one, right? The transaction D3. Okay, credit suppliers account, debit purchases. Okay. So record it into the Abu's account. Be careful again. Right number first. Credit Abu means go to Abu account, credit side. Write the number there. 300. Always write number first. Then write detail. Name of the other account. Write purchases. Okay. Write purchases. So Abu started to owe. Sorry, we started to owe Abu money. We started to owe Abu money. Yeah, and then next line of the example. We return goods worth $40 to Abu. So what are the double entries? Okay, look at the E, transaction E that you learned just now. We should debit Abu, credit purchaser returns, right? Okay, again, listen carefully. Debit Abu means go to Abu account, debit side, write the number there first. If you follow this technique, for sure you will not make mistake. Ready? Write number first. Okay, 40. Detail is what? Detail is the name of the other account. Write purchaser returns here. I don't have enough space, so I write in short form. Okay, don't write short form in the exam. Okay, now after we return goods worth $40 to Abu, right now we owe Abu $40 less. We owe Abu $40 less. How much we still owe Abu? 260. Okay, we settle with cash, means we pay with cash to settle the outstanding amount owed. You credit cash, debit what? Should I debit purchases again? No, you debit Abu. Okay, amount is 260. I'm picking a color. Okay, hold on. Okay, light green. Debit Abu means going to Abu's account debit side. Write a figure here. Okay, amount is 260, right? I say. And then the detail, write the name of the other account. Okay, write cash. Okay, do we still owe Abu money? No. When you notice that both the debit and credit side have the same totals, it means that there's no outstanding amount owed. Okay, there's no outstanding amount owed. Everything has been settled. Okay, and then you can do something like this. Total up both sides to be the same amount, 300. Okay, finish. So from this page, you have learned quite a lot of transactions. When you are a supplier, what you would do. When you're a customer, what you would do. And next would be your turn. Okay, next would be your turn. You help me to do a couple of key accounts. Then you WhatsApp to me. I will wait for everyone's answer before I chat with you. Okay, so make sure you do. Now let's start. I will write down the transactions in the notepad here. It's okay for you not to copy down the question. Okay, just write the answers you do. Okay, now let me type a few transactions here. Then you start to do the T accounts. Okay, hold on. Give me a few seconds. I will let you do this exercise until everyone gets correct. Okay, otherwise I will not move on to another new thing. Let's start. I will include transactions that you have learned last week as well. Okay, when you are the supplier. Okay, a total of 8 transactions. Okay, and whatever you have learned with me on this page of notes can help you to record all these transactions. Okay, they are considered simple, really simple, because later on, maybe the next lesson, you will learn things that are more complex like discounts. Okay, when discounts are involved, things would be a bit more complex further, really. Okay, so make sure you master this one. Otherwise, you would be you would find it difficult to catch up, and you will say that the subject is difficult. Okay, master the basic things first. If you have problem right now, solve it now. Otherwise, you cannot catch up in the future. Okay, now I'm going to open up a file on the right showing to you what T account you have to prepare. Okay, you get up a piece of foolscap paper. Okay, get out a piece of foolscap paper. Then you draw these T accounts with me. After I've done the T accounts, after I've done drawing the T accounts, then you can start to record these 8 transactions. Okay, how many accounts you need? Let me try to see. Okay, let me see what other account you need. Okay, you need to have a total of 8 accounts. Okay, for the dates, you ignore for now. I just want you to master what account to debit. You must know what account to debit and what account to credit, and also must know how to record into the T accounts. Okay, write number first, then only you write the detail. Okay, forget about the dates for now. Dates are easy to write. You may start now. I will set the timer. I know you will take some time. Please do carefully. If you're not sure, don't guess and record into it. Okay. You do it slowly. Okay. If you are not sure, you refer to the notes. Okay. If you have problem, you let me know in the chat box. I'm here. Timer is here also. Okay. Okay. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I think is okay. Okay. The timing is given is okay. Okay. You may start. Okay. 80 accounts. Yeah. I wait for a picture from the WhatsApp from every one of you. Okay, about 5 minutes left. Okay, one of you has finished. I have received the answer. Okay, I think you need extra time. That's my thought as well. Okay, because just now you spent some time drawing the T account, right? Okay, 5 minutes more. I think three lah. Okay, three, four, four. Okay, four. Okay, so you need these 8 accounts. Okay, these 8 accounts. Okay, a bit of time left, 1.5 minutes. Those who have done, hold on, yeah. We have time. Your exam is in 2023. I will discuss and timer is up. Okay. If you have not done, you can send a picture to me, okay, so that I can see what your progress is. Okay, I start to discuss now. I cannot wait further. Okay, first and foremost, have to determine what account to debit and what account to credit for every transaction here, right? Determining what to debit and what to credit is just one part of the topic, okay? You must also know how to put them into T account correctly, okay? When you know what to debit and what to credit, you're not champion yet, okay? You have to know how to put it into the T account. So bought goods on credit from Citi for $500. Okay, so means we buy goods on credit from Citi. I told you to do credit entry first. You should credit suppliers account, therefore credit Citi. Then you debit purchases. Okay, good, Jason. I received yours. Okay, I think you're not familiar yet. Okay, so you do checking. Okay, you do checking when I'm discussing. But at least you have attempted. You know the challenge. Okay, debit purchases, credit Citi. Later we put it into the account. Okay, we focus on determining the double entries first. Okay, second one, return goods worth 100 to Citi. So you have to debit Citi, credit purchases returns. Okay, reversal and then add the word returns. Okay, earlier you owe Citi, right? You owe Citi 500. Now you return goods worth 100 to Citi. You will owe Citi less. Okay, these are the double entries. Number 3, bought goods for cash 300 from Ali. Credit cash. Don't go and debit Ali. The name Ali here is meant for tricking you into thinking that you have to use the name Ali. They say for cash means you pay with cash. Okay, you make immediate payment. So you don't have to touch the name Ali. Okay. Number 4, this time we become supplier. We sold goods for check, debit bank, credit, sales. Okay. You have only learned a few transactions. Okay. Later you are going to see more transactions. Okay. These are just maybe 15%. Okay, 15% of what you have to know, what to debit and what to credit. Cambridge subjects are not easy to do. Okay, it's not SPM here. Okay, so goods on credit to Nobita for $800. Can you debit cash or bank? Cannot. We cannot debit cash or bank. We have not received payment from Nobita. So you have to debit Nobita, credit sales. Okay, number 6. Nobita return goods back to us. So debit sale returns, credit Nobita. Okay, last one. Sorry, not last one. This is the second last one, right? I make the word smaller so that I can have more space to write. Okay, 16. Okay, still can see, right? Okay. We settle debt owed to Citi with check. So you have to look at the transactions earlier. Citi is here. Citi is also here. And how much do you still owe to Citi? 500. And then minus 100. You still owe Citi 400. So make sure you use 400 here. So you pay to Citi, right, with check. So credit bank. What to debit? Debit Citi. Okay, last one. Nobita again. Nobita appeared earlier, right? For 5 and 6. Initially, Nobita owed us 800, then owed us $30 less. Eventually, Nobita still owed to us 770, correct, 770. You settle with what? Settle with cash. Nobita settle, okay, pay us money. Nobita pay us money. We debit cash, credit Nobita. Okay, so you see, it's not just about knowing how to do. We have to be very careful as well. Okay, even though I know how to do, once in a while, if I'm very tired, I will still make mistakes, really. Okay, so when you are going for exam, make sure you have enough energy. Okay, now record into the 3 accounts. Okay, again, look carefully. We begin with the first one. Okay, debit purchases, credit Citi, amount is 500. So write number first always. I do it faster, yeah, a bit, because you should have known the idea. Writing number first, then only you write the detail. Write purchases here. Write Citi here. Okay, that's the first transaction. Then next one, second transaction. Focus on writing number first, then you won't make mistake. Where is purchase returns? Here. Okay. Then detail is always the name of the other account. I write in short form, yeah, to save time here. In the exam, don't write short form. Here, write Citi. Okay. Okay. Now number 3, 300, right? Okay. Number 4. Okay. Number 5. If you think that I've made any mistake, you let me know, okay? Based on what I have learned, if you think that it's not consistent with what I told you earlier, then you tell me. Because there are many transactions here, it's very prone to making mistakes. Okay, debit Nobita, credit sales 800. Okay. Okay, return goods back to us, Nobita. Debit sales returns. Credit Nobita. Okay. Here write sales returns. Here write Nobita. Okay. Number 7. The amount is what? Okay, let's check again. What is the amount? 400. Okay, 500 minus 100, 400. We pay to city. Is it? Yes. We've checked. So bank account, 400. City, 400. Okay, then write the detail. Write bank here, write city here. Number 8. What is the amount again? I remember 770. Correct. 800, 800 minus 30, 770. Therefore, use 770. 770. Okay, here 770. Okay, then only write the detail. Detail is always the name of the other account. Okay, finish. And for City and Nobita's account, they no longer owe us money, and we also don't owe them money. Therefore, you can total them up because both the debit and credit side have the same amounts. Okay, so you write 500, 500, 800, 800. For the rest of the accounts, I will teach you how to deal with them when I teach you what is balancing process. Okay, balancing process means those involving balance CD, balance PD. I think you have heard of it if you have done it with your school. Okay, I will guide you on doing that later. Okay, so when you're done with correction, please let me know. Make sure you check all the accounts one by one and ensure that yours is correct also. Once you're done with correction, let me know in the chat box. Then you move on to something new. Okay, good patient and Naima. Okay, Jason, I'll answer you later. Yeah. You focus on doing correction first. Later, I'll tell you how to differentiate sale returns and purchase returns. Okay, Jason, when you're done with correction, let me know. Okay, then I explain to you. Okay, when you're done, let me know. Now, what is the difference between sale returns and purchase returns? I show you. If you look at the notes, page number 30, okay, page number 30, okay, the top flow, the upper page is a flow chart where we are the supplier, okay, we are supplier. When you sell goods to customer, you will always debit sales account, sorry, credit sales account. Okay, you will always credit sales account when we sell goods to the customers. Okay, so we are supplier, right? So I think it's logical. We call it as sales. We sell goods to our customer. Therefore, when customer return goods back to us, we call it as sale returns. Okay, that's why I say when you are supplier, you call it as sale returns. On another hand, the second half of the page, we are customer. When you are customer, you buy goods, right? When you buy goods, you call it as purchases. Of course, when you return goods, you call it as purchases returns. That's the difference. That's the difference. That's why I say when you are customer, you call the returning as purchaser returns. When you are supplier, you call the return as sale returns. Jason, you are clear now? Good question. Good question. Okay, when you have understood, let me know. Yeah, correct, Jason. Yeah, your understanding is correct. Okay, so we are now going to see questions that are different this time. You look at page number 38. Okay, look at page number 38. Hold on, let me choose a couple more of questions. Okay, I'd like you to see page 42. Sorry, page 42. Okay, come to page 42. Okay. Question 3. Okay, question 3A is a past exam question. In fact, all the questions in my handouts, they come from many different resources, from many different workbooks, and many of them are also past exam questions. Okay, by just doing questions in my handouts, you would have been exposed to a variety of questions, and it's beneficial. I would never let you do past exam papers or past exam questions only a few months before the actual exam. It would be too late. Okay, state the tab entry needed to record this transaction. I do this together with you. You have the A1, you have the A2. Do you see a couple of names in this question? Yes, right. You see Peach here, you see Roger here, Peach here, Roger here. I told you before, when you see that a question has a couple of names, you must first find out who we are. What is our name? Okay. And then next, whether we are customer or supplier, must determine very clearly, because tab entries would be different. Okay, would be completely different between customer and supplier. This question, when you are doing A1, it says what you should do in the books of pitch. Books of pitch means the accounting books of pitch, meaning you are pitched for the A1. Okay, and for the A2, you are Roger. Okay, so you see, it's very possible that within the same question, you can assume different roles in different parts of the question. A1, we are Peach. A2, we are Roger. Then go find out who is Peach, who is Roger by reading the body of the question. Peach is supplier, Roger is customer. Very obvious here, right? Because Peach so good. Therefore, to remind yourself, who are we in A1, write supplier there. Remind who you are in A2, write customer there. Okay. So do it one by one. Focus on doing A1 first. We are Peach. We sold goods 5,000 on credit to Roger. Is this a simple transaction? Simple? Yes. Can you debit cash? Cannot. Can you debit bank? Cannot. You debit name of customer, Roger. Amount is simple, 5,000, right? Do you see any other amount in this question? No. Okay. In fact, they don't even have to give you the dollar column, in my opinion, okay? Because there's no other amount. For sure, you will use 5,000. Okay. What account should you credit? Credit sales account. Okay, done for A1. Okay, we sold goods on credit to Roger. A2, we are customer. We bought goods on credit. Okay, so the other way around means bought, right? We bought goods on credit from Peach. You should make payment. Can you credit cash here? No, because you have not made payment. Can you credit bank here? Cannot, because it's on credit. You have not made payment. You credit the supplier's name, Peach. 5,000. What should you debit? Purchases. Okay, so you have to get familiar with all this, okay? Because they are the fundamentals of the subject. Okay, so how can you get familiar with them? By doing more questions, really. Okay, by doing more questions, then eventually you would remember all this. Okay, so these are the answers. You have written down, right? Just a few words here. Okay. Okay, next, I would like to get back to the notes because there are more transactions to learn. Okay, there are more transactions to learn. Transaction means event in business. And you must also know what are their data entries. Okay, come to page 31. Come to page 31. Okay, come to page 31. Before we continue on to transaction G, we are going to understand a couple of terms here. First one, credit customer. Okay. Credit customer doesn't mean you go and credit the customer's account. Okay. This is a category of customer. Okay, this is known as a category of customer. We call them as credit customers. So why do you call customers as credit customers? Because they bought goods on credit from us. Okay, you can also see credit customers as customers who owe us money. That's why you call them as credit customers. Customers who owe us money. Okay, so if a customer doesn't owe you money, you would not describe a customer as credit customer. Okay, so must understand this term. Credit customer means it's a customer who owe us money because they bought goods on credit. On another hand, if you owe money to a supplier, if you owe money to a particular supplier, you will describe the supplier as credit supplier. So you write supplier whom we owe money to them. Suppliers whom we owe money to them. Okay, because we buy goods on credit from these suppliers. Okay, so we owe them money. You call these suppliers as credit suppliers. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now, a few more terms to understand. I have to understand what is cash sales and what is credit sales. There are two types of sales. Okay, there are two types of sales. One is known as cash sales, and another is credit sales. There are also two types of purchases: cash purchases and credit purchases. Okay, first and foremost, recall where you learned these two words with me: sales and purchases. Where did you learn these two words? From part 2. Okay, don't simply think of sales as selling. Okay, it's not as simple as selling. Purchases is also not as simple as buying. Okay, these two are technical terms in accounting: sales and purchases. Their meaning are from the part 2. Okay, here is where you learn the 6 terms. Purchases means value of goods you bought from supplier. Okay, it is goods. Okay, goods, value of goods that you bought from supplier means purchases. Sales means value of goods that you have sold to the customers, meaning the goods that you have sold to the customers, how much are they worth? Okay, how much are they worth? Okay, so these are sales and purchases. There are two types of sales. One is known as cash sales, another is credit sales. Cash sales, it is simply the name of the category of sales. There are two categories of sales. Okay, there are two categories of sales. One is cash sales and another is credit sales. Don't think that cash sales has something to do with cash. Okay, it's a misunderstanding in many students. They think that cash sales means you sell goods and collect cash. No. If you tell me that cash sales means sell goods and collect cash, have you ever heard of check sales? If you have done many topics with your school, then you should be aware that you should have not heard this term check sales because it doesn't exist. Okay, then what do you call a transaction where you sell goods and receive check? Since there's no check sales. Okay, that means you must have misunderstood the term cash sales. Okay, my point is cash sales has nothing to do with cash at all. The meaning of cash sales is, hold on, yeah, let me erase this. Cash sales means, you can read on your own first. Let me erase this. It means that when you sell goods to the customer, you get money on the spot from them. That means customers pay to you immediately when you send them the goods. They pay you on the spot. Customers pay us on the spot. That is cash sales. Okay, and you can receive the money in the form of either cash or check. That's the true meaning of cash sales. I show you online the exact meaning of cash sales. Let me find a sentence that makes you easy to understand. See this. What is cash sales? Cash sales are the business transactions which company receive immediate payment after selling goods or service, which means when you send goods to the customer, you get the money on the spot. Okay, it can be in the form of cash that you receive. It can be in the form of check that you receive. Okay, get the idea? Okay, and you can also see this one. when something is sold and payment is made immediately. I didn't create this and upload into the internet, okay? All these are from the official websites, okay? I don't have time to create all these websites to tell you the fact, okay? So that's the meaning, okay? Understand, yeah? I believe some of you should have misunderstanding about this. Okay. On another hand, credit sales mean the other way around. It means you sell goods to the customer and customers will pay at a later date. What is the term that is used? On credit, okay? On credit, right? So you may write here, it means on credit. Okay, so if customers don't pay on the spot, they pay later, they owe us for some time, they owe us money for some time, that's credit sales. On another hand, purchases means buy goods. So again, cash purchases have nothing to do with cash. Cash purchases also have nothing to do with cash. It simply means we pay immediately. Okay, we pay immediately. It can be in the form of cash or check. So credit purchases means we buy goods on credit because we pay at a later date. Okay, so these are the meaning. Remember, cash sales doesn't mean that it has something to do with cash, even though you see the word cash here. Okay, yeah, I think I have cleared some doubts that you have. Okay, on the same page, second half, we are going to see more transactions and then determine what to debit and what to credit. But don't worry, I will not spend too much time asking you to do the T account whenever I have introduced a transaction because it's time consuming. Okay, so from now on, I will do the transaction G all the way until the last one, transaction P. Then we start to do the questions behind. Okay, shall we? Okay. Hold on, yeah. Let me press the charges button. Okay, we can continue. Okay, transaction G. Buy NCA. What is NCA? Look at part one. Okay, look at part one. I've given you plenty of examples for NCA. Must remember, NCA are assets that you use in business, meaning you don't intend to sell it off. Okay, you don't intend to sell it off. You use it in the business for at least 1 year. For at least 1 year. Examples: you run a Coca-Cola factory. Coca-Cola factory. Do you need machines? Do you need machines? Of course. So, do you intend to buy the machines and sell off the machine to make money? No. You buy the machine and keep and use it in your factory to make your Coca-Cola, right? Okay. You will use the machinery for a long time. Okay. So that's NCA example. Okay. Now, let's look at the double entries. Again, buying something, there can be 3 possible situations: G1, G2, then G3. G1, you pay with cash immediately. G2, you pay with check on the spot. On the spot means immediately, okay? Number 3, you buy NCA on credit. Okay, buy NCA on credit. Means you pay later, okay? Pay later. So double entries, you should know very well. When you pay with cash, you credit cash. When you pay with check, you credit bank. There's no other answer for crediting bank, okay? Don't tell me to credit check. There's no such thing as crediting check, okay? Then for the third one, can you credit cash? You buy NCA on credit, can you credit cash or bank? Cannot. You have to remember the supplier's name, therefore credit supplier. If you are not given name in the exam question, write trade payable. Okay, so slash trade payable. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not asking you to write in the exam both supplier and trade payable. Okay, if the examiner has not given you the name, then only you credit trade payable. What account to debit? I let all of you try. I'm not too sure how many of you have learned double entries with your school, but if you have, then you should have some idea. Okay, I let you try. If you know what is the answer to the debit entry, you tell me in the chat box. What do you think you should debit? Okay, you begin. I give you about 10 seconds. Right or wrong is okay, okay? Okay, one of you say no idea, it's okay. Maybe Naima, Annabelle, Jason, you may try. What do you think I will debit? Okay, Naima, correct. Well done. Okay, I tell you lah, okay. When you buy NCA, it's different from buying goods. Remember, I always tell you goods and NCA are different. Goods are things you buy and then you intend to sell it off. Okay, if you buy goods, you do what? You debit what? You debit purchases if you buy goods. Okay, if you buy NCA, you debit the name of the NCA. So let's say I give you an example, machinery. You buy machinery, then you debit machinery account. Okay, don't debit purchases, yeah. Debiting purchases is a common mistake made in the exam, okay, by students. So you may write down here, 3 stars, okay? Write 3 stars. Don't debit purchases. Don't think that debiting purchases simply means buying something. No, okay? So don't debit purchases. When you debit purchases, it only means buy goods. But here is NCA. Okay, if you want to write furniture, up to you. If you want to write motor vehicles, it's up to you. Okay, so just write any NCA's name. For me, I choose machinery. Okay, again, when you buy something, you may have the right to return back to the supplier. So look at the rightmost. Look to the rightmost. Return NCA back to the supplier. This one easy. Just reverse it. Just reverse it. Whatever you did earlier, you do it the other way around. Meaning you credit machinery, then you debit supplies name / trade payable. Okay. Now what if you don't return the NCA back to the supplier, meaning there's no problem with the NCA, eventually you must settle the payment, right? You must settle the debt. Okay, because you bought on credit earlier. Eventually you must settle. So again, you may pay with cash or check. If you pay with cash to settle, credit cash. If you pay with check to settle, you credit bank. Okay. Now, do you notice or not? The decision-making rule that I taught you, this one, the decision-making rule here, this itself can help you to decide what to debit and what to credit a lot already, right? Okay, notice we deal with cash and bank a lot. So with this, you would have known almost half of the double entries. Okay, for certain things like crediting sales, debit purchases, those are things you may have to remember separately. Okay, now what account to debit? We cannot debit machinery. If you debit machinery, it's like you are buying the machinery 2 times. It would look like this, right? It would look like this if you debit machinery. You have to debit the supplier's name because now you are settling the debt. So write supplier. Sorry, okay, I try to improve my handwriting, okay? Today's writing is really not good, not looking good. Okay, when you're done writing, please let me know done. Then we move on to the next page. Okay, good, Naima. Well done. Good, Beijing. Okay, good, Jason. Okay, good, Annabelle. Good. Next page. Here are some simple transactions. Okay, page 32. Look at the upper half of the page first. Pay for expenses. Expenses are something meant to be paid, right? Income is something meant to be received, right? Okay. So here, we make it a bit simple. Okay. You pay with either cash or check. For income, you receive it in the form of either cash or check also. And you may have a question, what about the term on credit? Okay, on credit is not applicable here, but there is something known as overpayment of expenses or you underpayment the expense. Underpayment the expense means you pay less than the amount you should pay. Okay, so what would happen? For example, electricity bill, the electricity bill that you receive from TNB in Malaysia, if the bill is written 10,000, you should pay 10,000, right? I call it the should amount. You should pay 10,000, right? If the bill is written 10,000, you should pay 10,000. What if you don't have enough money, and then you pay less than that? You argue with the TNB that you like to delay. You like to delay the payment. So there's a topic known as accruals and prepayment. We will talk about that more in the future. Okay, for now, we'll keep it simple. We just learn the tab entries for payment and receiving income. Yeah, correct, patient. I think you learned that topic in your school, so you might have some idea. So here we keep it simple. We learn the payment and receiving. When you pay for expense, so what are the examples of expenses? Let's take rent. Let's take rent. Okay. It can be any other expenses that you learn from the part 2. Income, let's take rent receipt. Okay, let's take rent receipt as the example. Okay. Again, use the decision-making rule I taught you earlier. When you pay for expenses, if you pay with cash, then you credit cash. If you pay with check, you credit bank. This should now be programmed into your mind already, okay? Because I've mentioned it many, many times since last lesson. And what do we debit? We debit the name of the expense. Okay, so take note of the order I do the answers. Okay, I write this first, then I write this. I determine this first, then I determine the debit entry. Okay, because I make payment. I pay for something. Income. If you receive the income in the form of cash, then you debit cash. If you receive the income in the form of check, then you debit bank. Okay, so for income, I will do the debit entry first. Then credit what? Credit the name of the income. Name of the income. Credit rent receipt. Okay. Okay, I give you 10 seconds and then I move on to the second half of the page. Okay, continue, yeah. Okay, now here is a word known as drawings. Have I taught you this word drawings? Yes, you learn it in part 2. Show you. If I show you in the part 2. Here. Okay, I have written the definition for you, right? Anything that the business owner takes out of the business for personal use. Okay, and then I always give the examples of 7-Eleven. One day you like to drink Coca-Cola, you are thirsty. Should you go to another shop and buy, or you take out of your business? Of course, take out of your business, more convenient, right? That's drawing. Okay, that's drawing. You can take anything out of the business because you are the business owner. Everything in the business you own, right? You own all the things in the business. This is drawing. So drawing is also something that happened in business. It's a transaction. You have to know what to debit and what to credit. Okay, so you see there's a line describing what drawing is here. We're drawing business items for personal, domestic, or family, or private. Okay, most of the time they use these two words more often. Okay, private or personal. Okay, but who knows, one day they may use domestic or family use. Okay, because they also mean they also refer to something personal in nature, right? Domestic and family. Okay, now what tab entries to do? You must think from point of view of business. Okay, think from business point of view. Think from business point of view. So when something has been taken out of the business, let me repeat. When something has been taken out of the business, you should do credit first. It's kind of like cash and bank. When you have less cash or you have less money in the bank, you will credit the cash or bank, right? Here is the same concept. Something is getting out of the business, you should do credit entry first. So there are some things here that you can take out of the business. You may take cash out of the business. You may take check out of the business. Take check out of the business means you take the business money from the bank, okay, for personal use. You can take goods from the business for personal use. You can take NCA of the business for personal use, anything. So first one, you credit cash. Okay, this is J1. Okay, you can call this as J1, J2, J3, J4. Okay, so first one you credit cash, second one you credit bank, because when you have taken cash out of the business for personal use, you would have less cash in your business, right? So you credit cash. And then the third one, here you have to be careful. You have to create purchases. This is a very common mistake students make. They, instead of crediting purchases, they credit something else. Sometimes they credit goods, or sometimes they credit inventory. But you must remember, you should credit purchases. Okay, as to why you credit purchases, sorry, there's no explanation. Okay, that's the fact. You have to credit purchases. Okay, so remember, yeah, because that's the common mistake made by students. Okay, instead of crediting purchases, they credit something else. For NCA, you credit the name of the NCA. Let's say furniture. Okay, let's say you have a restaurant. But during COVID-19 period, nobody can go in and eat, right? Nobody can dine in, right? Therefore, temporarily, you use some chairs and tables from your furniture. You brought them home for personal use temporarily. Possible, right? Okay. What account should I debit? You have to debit drawings. Okay, so write all the way. Drawings. Okay, so when you're done, let me know. I think for the learning part, we stop here. I will ask you to do a couple of questions as homework. You try, okay? Make sure you try before the next lesson. Then we can discuss. Okay, good, Annabelle. Okay, good patient. Okay, good, Naima. Well done. Okay, wait for Jason. Okay, good. So, okay, pay attention. I tell you what to do. Cannot do this yet. Okay, page number 38. Okay, page number 38. 38. You can try question 2 as homework. Okay, question 2 as homework. They ask you to choose the wrong one. I know you understand what is incorrect. You understand the word incorrect, but pay attention. It's still common for students to make mistake, even though they know the word incorrect. Why? Because when they are in the middle of doing the question, they may have forgotten that they have to look for the wrong one. Really, it's a common mistake. Maybe the first one you identify correctly, okay? You still remember you have to look for the wrong one. When you are at the second one, when you are looking at the second one, maybe you still remember a bit that you have to look for the wrong one. But when you are looking at the third and the fourth one, probably you have forgotten already that you should be looking for the wrong one. Okay, so keep looking at this sentence, reminding yourself you have to look for the wrong one. Okay, so really, okay. And then page number 39, page number 39. Okay, this question. Okay, write down, yeah. Otherwise you would not know which one is homework. Okay, write down. I have to write down the date as well because I would not know which I have assigned to you. And then on the same page, question D. Question D. Okay. Then okay, page number 40. Page number 40. This entire table you can complete. And you may have a problem with understanding this term. Okay, credit transfer. Okay, you write down the meaning. It means through bank. It means through bank. You can also remember this as online transfer. When you do online transfer, it's getting from one bank to another bank account, right? Okay, so through bank, or you call it as online transfer. Okay, this term credit transfer. Okay, so this table C you can complete as homework. And then on the same page, question 23. And then those I mark with the red star. Okay, these three. Okay, these three. Homework. Okay, only these three are out of the table. And then okay, page 44. Page 44, question 28. Okay, page 44, question 28. Then no more. Okay, then no more. So from time to time, if you have question, you let me know. Okay. For topics that you have learned, you can ask me question. For topics that you have not learned but you are learning with your school, you can also ask me question. Okay, it's okay. Okay, I'm open-minded. So okay, I see you again next week at the same time. Bye, everyone. Welcome.